I love doing deals. I love hunting for opportunities. I love sitting down with property owners, meeting them face to face, knee to knee, having a great conversation, finding out what their real estate goals are, and seeing if a cash as is offer will solve whatever problem that they have, right? When we're talking to distressed property owners, they always have a problem that we need to figure out, discover, and see if what we do actually solves that problem. That's how we provide value. That's how we get these big checks, right? We talk about ugly houses, big checks. One thing that I don't like about this business is all the paperwork that's involved afterwards. Because let's be real here. This is a huge asset for somebody, and it's not like you're just buying, something at the grocery store that you just purchase and it's done and it takes 2 seconds. No, this usually takes 2 weeks to 30 days, and there's a lot of organization that's involved in that. And managing that, especially when you're getting started, one can kind of feel like you're on uneven ground because you're not experienced in it and you're not exactly sure what paperwork and documents need to get there. But it's a huge distraction from going out and doing what we do best, which is going out and finding opportunities. And that's why I am so happy on this podcast. We're going to be talking to an incredible real estate investor who has an incredible real estate service for us wholesalers and investors nationwide that deals with the transaction coordination. Once you get a deal done, you send it over to them, and then they take care of your transaction from there. And I think this is going to be an incredible conversation. My name is Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, and it's my pleasure to bring David Olds from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Brent, I'm so excited to be here. I've been a TTP student and Wholesaling Inc. and followed you guys and was at the last event in North Carolina a couple years back. So super excited to be here and talk to you.
So how long have you been a real estate investor? Because I think this is important.
Yeah.
All of the different affiliates that we have and services and tools that we use were all born in the fires of actually doing deals.
Yeah.
Right?
20 years, almost over 20 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, we started real short 2002. My wife and I, we bought our first house, which was a foreclosure from Wells Fargo in Central Florida. And we were in that market for a little while until the world came to an end in 2009, and we relocated to Chattanooga, Tennessee. And we were really the first wholesalers in the market and started doing a lot of deals, doing creative deals, owner finance, subject to, all of those things. Built up a big portfolio of rental properties, started doing rehabs when the market picked back up. And and then eventually 2016 or 2017 started going nationwide. So it's been a wild ride.
That's incredible. So how many deals have you done?
Oh, over 1,500.
1,500 deals?
Yeah.
Are we talking all wholesale? Are we talking flips? Are we talking...
All of them put together. Mostly wholesale, though, right? We've probably done 30 flips, maybe.
I love it.
Like, not a ton. There are definitely people who do that in a year.
So you've done 1,470-ish wholesale deals. Why wholesale?
Well, wholesale... So when we moved to Chattanooga, I'd had a house foreclosed on, which was awesome. A couple of years before that, I'd had a car repoed, which is like
your own.
My own. I was making money, but terrible at managing it. But we were doing fine flipping houses. That was okay. But when we moved to Chattanooga, our goal was to buy some multifamilies. Well, you know who was lending to multifamilies in 2009? Nobody.
No one.
Nobody. The banks were they were so busy taking properties back. So the only thing that we could do to generate money was wholesaling. And it was kind of new for us. I had actually tried it in Orlando, but because I had a good job and we were flipping houses, it was one of those things where you didn't have to make it work, so we didn't. But when we got to Chattanooga, and I tell people we were broke divided by 2. That's the number that we had. It was It was pretty low, and we got really good at wholesaling. So that's how we were generating cash. That's how we lived.
And you just built a business.
We built a business. I tell people, in those first couple years, it was like the Wild West. We were like at the top of a hill in one of those little red metal wagons and just arms out, flailing, going down the hill, buying deals, selling deals, getting rentals. And then all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, I have an actual business. I need to get my act together. This is like a thing. This is a real thing. And, we need accountants and attorneys. We need to start building some type of a company around us.
So what does that company look like now, 2023, after all these years and all that experience? And really, you're looking at probably, 13, 14 years that you've been doing wholesale deals and
Yeah.
building that business.
Yeah.
What does it look like now?
So today, everything came from wholesaling. Like wholesaling is 100% the core. It is the thing that everything is built around.
I love
and I love wholesaling. I'll identify as a wholesaler forever. So we have our wholesaling company, which is still active today. We're still doing a lot of deals. But around that, we still do some rehabs, not as many. Big rental portfolio, almost 80 properties. A little bit of coaching. And then our transactions business is very big. And also, we have some outside businesses, some oil and gas and some things that we've been able to invest in because of wholesaling and real estate. It's been amazing.
These are the 5 steps. Tell me if you agree.
Yep.
Number 1, do your first deal.
Do your first
Okay?
deal.
Proof of concept.
Yep.
Number 2, get consistent so you can fire your boss
100%.
and do this business full time.
Yep.
Right? Number 3 is build a business that runs without you and you fire yourself.
Yes.
Right?
That's hard. That's tough. Yeah.
I know that is a tough part.
Yeah.
You know what makes it tougher is trying to do step 4, which is go out and buy assets.
Yes.
So you've got a business that's running. It's giving you great passive cash flow, and you use that cash flow to obviously live. I mean, you want to live your lifestyle, but also to buy assets.
Right.
That's the step. The 4th step is to go out and buy the multifamily,
Yes.
buy your portfolio. That's when you start getting cherry picking the best deals that you run across, right? And then the 5th is you protect that wealth.
Right.
Right.
And it's interesting as you get older, and I'm 51 now, so I'm like the old guy in the real estate room. Yeah, we're less willing to take risks than I would have 15 years ago, where I'm like, bet it all, let's go, right? So yeah, you definitely want to, kind of circle and protect it and not. We could build it all again, but it'd be a lot of work. So we don't want to burn that down if we don't have to.
But part of, to get through that first deal,
Yeah.
proof of concept, and to get to the point where you're building consistency, a lot of the people that you're working with in your transaction company are people that are part-time.
Yeah.
They're getting these deals. And by the way, guys, almost 40% of the deals that you're doing are novation deals.
We love novations.
Which is
We do a
absolutely
lot.
incredible, and
Yeah.
we could talk about that. But the other 60% is wholesale?
Yeah, probably 50% is wholesale, and then maybe 10% is sub to creative. Yeah,
Sure.
we fill in with that.
But so people bring the contracts already to you. You're not writing the contracts for them.
No, I tell people I'll be happy to write your contracts for you, but I'm not a principal in your company. But if you want to give me 10%, we'll do that for you.
Sure.
So no, we are strictly an administrative customer service business. Our whole goal is to help investors do more deals and make more money and just have more freedom.
Right.
So how do we do that? Like we talked about earlier, you talked about earlier in the podcast. People leave their 9-to-5 job. They hate that, right? Because entrepreneurs, we have something in us that we just want to go out there and do stuff.
Our
right?
brains are different.
Right.
Yeah.
We're different. We all know that in the back of our brain, even way back when I was managing retail stores, I always knew I was going to do something different.
Sure.
I didn't necessarily know what it was, but there was just something inside. And every entrepreneur I talk to is like that, right? So we want to leave those jobs and leave that boss and, all of that behind. We want to go out and make deals. We want to talk to people, right?
Yeah.
One of the greatest courses ever invented. We were in the first round of that. So yeah, you got to go out and talk to people. But like you said, a couple things happen. One, like that's the exciting part of the job, right? That's where the adrenaline hits, right? I made a deal. I sold a deal, right? Like that's where you get the real estate high. The other part though is working those deals through closing. And I remember when I was an early real estate investor, I would take my contract over to a title company in Chattanooga, and we had this one attorney, we called him Dr. No, because everything was like, oh, no, that's got title issues. We can't close that. $30,000 deal, out the window. Until we started, we're like, well, his name was Jeremy. Well, Jeremy, what can we do? Oh, well, I guess if you get a couple affidavits and a death certificate, I guess we can get that closed. And we knew to ask those questions early on because we'd done so much training and coaching and all of those things.
Sure.
But I see a lot of new real estate investors who don't know how to navigate the title process. All right. So I don't want to see them losing $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 deals because they went to the wrong title company, right? Because not all title companies are created equal. Some want to deal with investor business, but most don't. Because let's face it, we talk about stacking lists and going after problems and all of those things. That's great. It definitely leads to motivation from the seller. But now you have this hodgepodge of problems that have to be cleaned up on the title side, right? And that takes work. That takes a little bit of expertise to get through it quickly.
Sure. I remember getting into real estate in 2004, and I had no idea what a title company was,
right.
what their purpose was. So just real clearly, can you explain what a title company and closing attorney's responsibilities are, and how do you fit into that? If people want to work and have you take over the transaction and babysit this to closing, basically get it to the finish line, and alert people for any kind of issues that pop up during the process, so we can focus on lead generation, especially when we're starting our business. I mean, when we're starting our business, 80 to 90% of our efforts should be in lead generation. The other 10%, 10 to 20% should be on converting it and selling those deals. But when we got to build that we got to give the train. Momentum. We got to give the train some coal. It's got to get some fuel.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is get that first deal and be very excited, and then you stop everything to go deal with a title company for 3 weeks. And now,
it's creative avoidance.
Well, it is.
Creative avoidance is, oh my gosh, I'm going to go Google what a title company does. I'm going to go Google what their responsibilities are. All these things. Tell us real clearly, what do a title company do, and then how do you fill in the gaps?
Yeah, a title company's responsibility is to transfer ownership from one party to another. That's their job. And depending upon how your contract is written, and a contract is simply instructions to the title company. That's all that it is. It does not have to be fancy language. Ours is very third grade language. It's one page. I tell people it's literally so simple a third grader can understand it. But the title company is going to get that contract, and it's going to tell you a couple things: who's the seller, who's the buyer, when it's going to close, what the property address is, some very, very basic information. But their job is simply to convey title, move it from Mrs. Smith to Bob the builder, right? And make sure that if Bob wants clear title and title insurance and all of those things, that they can deliver that. Now, what that can mean, sometimes it can be very simple. Sometimes it can be very complicated. Mrs. Smith died, or Mrs. Smith, her husband may have died, but she inherited it from her aunt, and now there's some chain of title issues, right? This is where we see a lot of people get hung up. They don't have the ability to look at the landscape of the deal and put all the pieces back together so that the title can be clear, clean, no defects, and transfer to the new buyer. So that's the title company's job. I know a lot of people will talk and say, well, you get the title company to do all of the stuff for you, and that's not their job. Like, you may get lucky and find your friend who owns a title company who will do that for you, but typically that's not.
What do you mean, all the stuff?
The stuff. Call the seller, track down death certificates, affidavits of heirship, all of the things that might be required to clear a title. There's a buy here, pay here car lot lien, right? Who's going to call them and get that payoff, right? So title companies will do some of that, but they're not going to do all of it.
Sure.
And a lot of that will push back to the wholesaler. It could be something as simple as, well, you need to get this addendum signed. You need to go back and get death certificate, or I need you to draw a family tree chart of everybody who's involved so that we can figure it out.
Yeah.
Go get a death certificate. Well, I don't know where to get a death certificate. We can help you with that.
Got it.
Typically, a little tip is you can go to the funeral home where the funeral was, and they'll keep a copy of it. But yeah, there's just all those little things where what will happen is, instead of going out and getting your next deal, now you're in this quicksand of one step at a time, trying to fight your way through this to get to the closing table.
And by the way, the distraction.
Yes.
I'm just telling you, like we talk about the 3 Ds: doubt, disappointment, and distraction. Yeah. Distraction, and I see this when somebody's got a deal and they really want to make sure that it's getting closed. Everything stops, and it's a huge mistake. That's why there's so many months where it's up and down, up and down, and up and down, like waves in the ocean. And you're trying to get that consistency so that you can go full time, or you can bring on staff to fire yourself in certain roles, but you can't do it because you're babysitting these deals, and you're trying to, like, almost like helicopter parent these transactions in a world that you don't really fully understand.
Exactly.
So when you don't understand it, you want to get the education on it, and we don't get paid for that.
No.
We get paid for our ability to go out and find distressed property owners, solve their problems, match them up with cash buyers and investors that want to buy those opportunities. So the in-between there can be very distracting for people when they're getting started, and it's a huge benefit to have somebody to be able to take that all off your plate.
Right. And I remember when I had a full-time job and I was doing marketing, and I couldn't obviously take calls all day, so I outsourced that to a call center, and I would come home and and there would be an email, and I would go ahead and call those people. And that's a trick for outsourcing, whether outsourcing to somebody else in your office or to another company is, this is the question you should ask. Can they do it better than me? And can they do it cheaper? And we can. We can do both of those things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How many deals are you doing a month with this?
We're around 80 deals right now.
1,000 a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Our goal is
incredible.
1,000 a month. We're growing quick.
1,000 a month. So you're taking this serious.
Oh, yeah, this is a real thing. Our goal is to be involved in every single real estate transaction in the country.
So, I mean, you're connected with everybody. I mean, we run in the same circles. Yep. Did you just naturally see a need for this in a lot of these bigger companies?
Absolutely.
And a lot? I mean, is it mostly people that are already advanced, or is it people that, like I was mentioning before, that are just trying to get full time into this business? Like who's your avatar that works with you?
Weirdly, we have two.
Okay.
We have the newer investor who's doing 2 to 3 deals a month, wants to get to 5, 6, 7.
What about somebody that's doing their first deal?
100%. We definitely have those clients.
Okay.
Because maybe they've still got a job and they just don't have time from 9 to 5 to be calling around to the title company and figuring
How about just taking the weight off their shoulders?
Yeah. It's a huge weight, because the way that we've structured it is we will get paid at closing. So you don't even have to front that money to us.
You even have a way to have the cash buyer pay it at closing.
Yeah, it's pretty slick.
Right?
Yep.
That's just a line in the assignment agreement?
In your assignment or in your selling contract, you'll put a line in there that says there'll be a $595 administrative fee paid to Easy REI Closings for this transaction.
Love
and
that.
It's right in the middle. Hedge funds pay it. In hundreds of deals, I've maybe had 3 people catch it and go, I don't want to do that.
Right.
And it's like, well, Brent, somebody has to do this work, right? It's a real thing. How about this? How about we split it?
Yeah.
And we're done. So we definitely have people on the newer side, but we have quite a few clients that are doing 10, 15 deals a month, and they recognize that trying to hire a person yourself, right? Now you have all the hiring problems, right? I'm going to put out an ad on Indeed. I'm going to interview for 30 days, and I'm going to hire somebody. Maybe they're the right person. Like the fantasy is we're all going to hire title agents, right? They're not coming into your office for $40,000 a year.
No.
But you hire somebody, whether it's an old agent or somebody, whoever it is, to handle your transactions. And you're still going to have to manage that person. You're still going to have meetings 5 or 10 hours a week, and what's going on, ongoing training, all of those types of things. And then the worst thing is you think you have the right person who's not the right person. And all of a sudden deals are dying, and they come to you and they say, well, we just couldn't get this one closed. And you're like, okay, I have a transaction coordinator and they said it couldn't be closed. But I promise you 50, 60% of those could be closed, right? So that's the worst case scenario.
When I started out, I had a transaction coordinator, Shannon, in my real estate office. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
The best of the best. She was unbelievable. I tried to get her to work with me. She was making way too much doing everybody's transactions because everybody used her. Yeah. And she did everything, David. I mean, she took everything off of my plate and allowed me to go out and try to fight and scratch and claw and get more deals done. And I used her for the first $1 million of business that I did. Every single transaction, she took care of absolutely everything. If somebody needed an extra initial, if somebody needed an extra signature, if they needed to get these documents or that, I was like, Shannon, I don't even hear about any of these deals until I get paid. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
She's just like, I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
That's essentially the business that you've created.
That's it. And the personality.
You've got a bunch of Shannons.
We do. The personality type that we hire for our transaction company, they're not people that work on our wholesale company. These are, we pull from they do like an insurance claims office or medical billing, just people that love very detailed, right? They love spreadsheets. They love doing all of that stuff. I personally don't. No. I love owning that company and helping people, but that's a different personality type than the hustler mentality of I'm going to jump off this cliff. I'm going to build my parachute on the way down. We're going to find some deals. We're just going to go do this. Those type of people, us, me, you, not great at paperwork. I don't like it. I want to avoid it. I don't want to do it. And I realized when I was coming up and as a starting wholesaler that, here's one thing I realized. I always knew there was more I should be doing in my company, right? I should be doing KPIs. I should be doing, different types of marketing. I should be doing all of these things, but there's only so many hours in the day, There's it, right? Like when you're a solopreneur or one or two people, there's just only so much you can do. So you have to build out that team.
Love it.
You just have to.
Yeah.
And we can take 20 or 30% of that stuff that's in the back of your brain. We can take that completely off your plate. So you focus on talking to sellers, talking to buyers. And our goal is how we help you do more deals and make more money is we want to spin that wheel faster and faster and faster. Because now you have 30% more time to talk to sellers, 30% more time to be talking to buyers. That's how we're seeing our clients grow and do more deals.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What about title companies, right?
Yeah.
Like one of the biggest hurdles and challenges that I feel when people are getting started or even when they've got an established business is who do I work with?
Yeah.
Where do I take this deal to? What escrow officers and title companies actually do wholesale deals or do double closes or do double escrows or do novation deals, right? You got to get, it's not all of them.
No.
Blind HUDs.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean,
and I know you're in a million Facebook groups. You have one of the biggest ones on Facebook. But how many times do you look in there and say, hey, I'm doing a deal in West Virginia. What's a good title company?
Sure.
And maybe you're getting good info, maybe you're not. But not all title companies are created equal. I had a house built, and my builder only dealt with one particular title company because they like to do that. There are title companies that just want to do $500,000 houses. The typical house is sold every 3 years.
Yep.
They know it's got clean title. It's a very easy business with high title policies. Not everybody wants to deal with investors.
Yeah.
Like, we're a pain. Like, I get it, right? Like, we get some wacky sellers and wacky buyers.
A lot of people lock up deals that aren't really deals and cancel, and that's really the main issue that title companies and closing attorneys have is we open up escrow, and some people 8 out of 10 get canceled.
That's a real issue. We deal with a lot of nationwide title companies, but also local and regional. And when investors do that, what happens? It's like pouring maple syrup in the engine.
Yeah.
It just slows down everything in the industry. So a lot of the big title companies have stopped taking them. They say, submit it when you've got your both contracts, or you can pay us for the search, like you're going to pay up front. So because we have relationships with these people, and we're really great at gathering up all the documents, and we present it with a red bow on it. So title companies love taking our deals, and that gives us preference. And when we call them, they answer the phone because we're doing very high volume.
You have title companies throughout the whole country?
180.
Any state?
Any state.
Any area?
Any area. We're doing novations in Hawaii. Who knew they were doing novations in Hawaii?
Yeah.
I was in the office the other day, and they were talking about it. I'm like, we're in Hawaii? We're like, yeah, we're in Hawaii.
And these are established people that know how to work with wholesalers.
Yeah. So one thing our team has been really great at, we've got some... Listen, and I say we a lot, it is them. Right?
Yeah,
our team is amazing.
Yeah, I get it.
But they have gone out, and as new states have come on board where we have new clients and they're doing novations, we will go out and find a novation friendly agent or attorney or title company. So we know when you submit a deal to us through our portal, we're going to look at it and we're going to say, okay, here's the type of deal, here's the state it's in. We're going to assign it to the right title company right off the bat. Because a couple things we don't want to do because we do such a high volume of transactions. Let's say West Virginia, right? We have the best title company in West Virginia. I don't want to dump 20 deals on them in a month because they're not staffed up for that, right? I don't want to break them. I don't want to run them into the wall. So our team is really good at looking at the volume in a particular area and spreading those deals out among the best title companies. Because again, our commitment is to you, the client, to make sure that your deals close fast, as fast as possible. Our team is even paid on a commission basis where when your deal closes, they get paid. So they are very interested in pushing that deal across. Have you ever had a contract sitting at a title company and they're like, yeah, I went over to Bob's desk, he's working on it, now Sally had it, and I'm not really sure, we'll email you later. No. Now, first of all, you'll never have to make those calls again because we're doing it.
Yeah.
And our people are on it because I promise they turn in those commission sheets. They like to get paid.
And your team is familiar with all sorts of creative finance. I mean, you guys aren't putting together the paperwork yet. I think it'd be probably smart.
Eventually, we'll be in that business.
Ancillary business or
we'll do
service that you could put on there.
Yeah, we'll do addendums and things for you. And maybe down the road, that'll be something that we offer. But right now, it's not.
So get the contract. It goes over to you. Yeah. You guys take care of everything.
Yeah. Every client, when they sign up, gets a customized portal. We built because so I've been lied to by a lot of title companies over the years, probably as you have. So one of the things that was important to me is I understand that you are trusting us with your contract, right? Every one of those contracts could be $6,000, $10,000, $50,000. So we take that very seriously. So we have a portal that you can log into, and we call it the 2 o'clock in the morning. My God, what's going on with 123 Main Street? You can literally go see where your deal's at, click on it. It'll pop open. You can see all the documents, all the notes. Every single note. And I will put our people's notes up against anybody's. Like every time somebody touches a file, there's a note in there. So no matter what, you can log in and see what the status of your deal is. We have a ton of communication, like every week. A couple things that we do. One, as our client, we'll send you an email at the end of every week. Hey, Brent, you've got these 15 contracts. These 12 are good. This one, there's an issue. Something's going on. We need to talk about it. And hey, these 2 over here, we haven't been able to get a hold of the seller. When can we jump on a call? So you get constant feedback from us. And we like to do it at the end of the week because I remember when I was had in-house TCs, I like them to have reports for Monday morning meetings. So that's kind of how we do it. But the other thing that we do, which is crucial, is we touch base every week with your seller and your buyer. Because one thing that I've seen, and this is a real estate thing, right? People get upset, this other wholesaler stole my deal. Well, did they? I don't know that they did. Here's what typically happens, we found.
You didn't communicate.
You didn't talk to your seller. So let's just use you as an example. You contract with Mrs. Smith.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, and you're busy, right? You're trying to do all the things, and you haven't touched base with her once a week. And what happens is now I call her, and I don't know. Like, I just call her and I'm like, hey, Mrs. Smith, I'm buying houses. Do you want to sell? She's like, well, I was talking to Brent, and Brent was going to buy my house, but I haven't heard from him, so sure.
That would never happen.
I know. It wouldn't happen for you, but this does happen a lot. And
no, I get it.
This is how it ends up with 2 contracts on a property.
Yeah.
So, again, because I'm a real investor, and we know we have instituted this as a service to our clients where we will talk to the client every single week and say, hey, just wanted to let you know, we're still in the title search. If you have any questions, give me a call. Like just something so that they know progress is moving forward.
It also to the property owners and to your cash buyers, you look way more professional.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because
they feel like they're in good hands, especially the seller. But I would say also there's a big impact with the cash buyers, and they're like, "Holy cow! This person has a staff. This person's on top of it. This person's communicating. This person is a real business person. This isn't just a solopreneur there that I could push around because I've been in the industry for a while. You know what I mean?
I do.
They've got something established. I should take them seriously. And I'm telling you, that could be the difference between just somebody trying to squeeze you for instead of a $15K assignment fee to a $10K assignment fee over and over and over. Because if they feel some cash buyers out there, some investors feel if they can squeeze you a little bit and you give a little bit, then they can squeeze you forever. And then all of a sudden you make half of what you should each in every deal.
Yeah, our team. So the same thing. Your responsibility is to upload me your contract with Mrs. Smith. We will take it from there. We will literally call her and say, hey, Mrs. Smith, this is David with Transactions. We're helping Brent, 123 Main Street. It's going to be our job to hold your hand and walk you through to the closing. Because I don't care whether you're using a realtor or selling an investment deal. Most people don't do what we do.
Right.
It's a weird thing, right? They don't understand. Like, it's like me trying to set up a website. I don't understand. I want to be in the fetal position on the floor, right? So somebody has to tell them what the next step is and to hold their hand and say, hey, here's what we're going to do next. Here's what I need from you. So with the seller, we're going to guide that all the way through to closing. But same thing with your buyer. We're going to call up Bob. Hey, Bob, saw that you're buying 123 Main Street from Brent. Here's what I need. Looks like you're closing this in your LLC. I need your corporate docs, your articles of incorporation. Oh, and you're using hard money, using RCN. Great. I need to know who your contact is over there, who's their email, because I need to get that to the title company so they can create the deed of trust, right? So it's those kinds of conversations that are.
I have no idea what you just said.
Okay.
No,
Well, it's tough.
no, I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're starting out, like everything that you just said there, like people don't have to understand what all those things are.
Yeah.
You got to go find great opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's your
And
job.
if you truly focus on that, and and just having this conversation's like bubbling up out of my subconscious, the first $1 million that I did in this business and working with Shannon, and the fact that like I had been in the business for a while, but there was always little things that needed to happen, and she took care of everything, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was so focused on hitting the phones.
Yeah.
I was so focused on going on appointments. I was so focused on finding my network of cash buyers that were going to, and investors that were going to work with me, and really creating my squad around me. And that's the first step that you get to firing yourself from the role of transaction coordination.
You don't need to be an expert in title.
No.
Let us do that for you.
Yeah. EasyREIClosings.com.
Yep. And I think we've got a link for something special that we don't do this for everybody.
Right.
Like really, you and I talked a couple months ago, and we've created a special program for TTP and Wholesaling Inc. and for
Rhino
your students.
Tribe.
Rhino Tribe. Where we're going to do something a little bit different.
What should we call it? Rhino? What was it?
Rhino Closings.
Rhino Closings.
Yeah. See if that's available, and it'll redirect. And yeah, we're going to do something where it's one.
Because you go ahead. Sorry.
No. We'll do it till it's one fee for the whole year.
Right.
And then we'll just we'll charge on the HUD, and we'll
per transaction.
Per transaction.
Because you usually charge a monthly fee.
We do.
But that's more for people that are more established.
Once you hit that consistent 2 to 3, we'll shift you over to that, and you'll save even more money.
Sure.
Yeah.
Love it. Anything else we should know?
That's it. I'm just really happy to be here, man.
I'm happy you're here too. I mean, you were an OG. Yeah. I mean, you guys were like either 2017 or 18 joining in TTP.
Yeah, we were in that first run.
And you guys went absolutely bananas with it.
We built the call center. We did all of it.
You did, and we're doing hundreds of deals, and it was absolutely incredible, and it was wonderful being a part of that.
I'm going to tell you, TTP changed everything for us.
Sure.
I mean, for real, and I tell everybody we have so much that we owe to you for just that. Everything that you did with TTP and the course and just the community that we got. So awesome. we do appreciate that.
Thanks for being on here. Thank you. David Olds from Chattanooga. And if you're interested in joining the most proactive community in real estate investing, go to wholesalinginc.com. Wholesalinginc.com if you're interested in growing a real estate business that runs without you. I'd love to show you exactly how you can do that. Wholesalinginc.com. Check it out. If it feels good in your gut, sign up for a call, and we look forward to working with you and growing the business and watching it blossom like David's. Absolutely incredible. And that's it from us. As always, I sign off encouraging you to go out there and talk to people. Till next time. Love you guys. Bye.